happening. It's happening.
Okay, keep it down, keep it down. Hey guys, it's me, Down Under Tea, and I'm back with episode 148 finally. It's been a long hiatus for me. I've been travelling around the world well, not around the world, across Europe for the last 5 weeks. And I've been home for a couple of weeks now, acclimatising back to uh, Australian Eastern Standard Time. We are now in December, the 8th of December. So we have less than 25 days till Christmas and less than 20 days till Christmas. So we are probably going to take another break over Christmas. Depends. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. But welcome back to another show. We are going to talk about what I saw while I was traveling across Europe and how I think it's changed since I was last there, which was in 2014. Um, I don't think it's gotten any better. It's in fact gotten worse. Uh, you can tell that just by reading all the alerts when you go onto places like smarttraveler.com and all of these websites and platforms that give you tips and stuff about traveling through Europe. YouTube was a big resource. And of course, the influx of immigration across Europe is definitely noticeable, much more noticeable than it was when I was there the first time. Excuse me, it's very hot and dry today. So we'll get into some of that. There's, of course, the old saying, if you've got nothing to say, nothing nice to say nothing. I'm sort of feeling that way about everything at the moment with the news cycle, the way it's been, with all of this Candace and Charlie Kirk stuff, all of this this fracturing that everybody's reporting on, which is happening within the Republican Party. Um, I think MAGA as a party is still the same party. The original sort of core of people that made up MAGA still want the same things. Um, they have wanted the same things forever. And Donald Trump promised to deliver them to them, and he's being stymied in every direction. We all see that plain as day. There is over 3 million court cases against ICE at the moment, or 2.8 million cases against ICE, court cases, against deporting these people that they keep raking off the streets. So, you tell me whether it is fracturing due to MAGA's interference or whether it's fracturing due to other internal sources interference. I think it's the latter. I think people like, straight off the top of my head, Pam Bondi, Susie Wiles, are both, they're either compromised or they are seeking alternative routes to take for America, for Americans to take, or seeking divisive routes along what Donald Trump wants to do and has promised to do. They are seeking to divide the Republican Party from within. Now, rumour has it that they're going back to the old Bushy donors and they're appealing to those people again. Now, really, if Donald Trump has anything to do with that, he should stamp that out ASAP. My voice has not recovered. Certainly, as soon as possible, that should be stamped out, because nobody liked the Bushes. Nobody likes the Bushy Bunch. Nobody wants to be associated with the Bushy Bunch, not in MAGA anyway. And so people are saying that he's losing control, and he's coming out and saying that, MAGA is his party and he will always, you know, he will always be the leader of MAGA if he, I don't know, is that him saying if he dies, MAGA dies? I don't think so. I don't think that's the way he should think about it, if that is what he's thinking, because I don't think that's true. I think MAGA has a very good chance of surviving under the likes of J.D. Vance and possibly Mark Rubio in 2028. But it's going to be a hard slog with everything that's going on now. And, of course, all of this stuff that's going on with Turning Point and Candace Owens, amongst others. Now, today, Laura Loomer, Laura Loomer's come out and said Tucker Carlson's conspiring to do all of this, fracturing. There's so much going on, but I think we should start from the very beginning with this thing. Where it started was, obviously everybody knows, this is why I have not commented on any of this at all, except for to say I don't like the way it's going. I have watched some of Candace's programming on the subject. I've watched Turning Point USA's programming on the subject. I've watched Erica Kirk's interviews, and I'm on the precipice of thinking something is wrong at Turning Point USA, but I'm still far from thinking that it was an inside job, because these are the accusations that are being thrown around at the moment. I do believe that Tyler Robinson was the perpetrator of this crime. I don't have any idea, and nobody does, of the deep background of this accused person, because that's all being kept, you know, to their chest until the court case, obviously. So I do think that there was some funny business going on at Turning Point USA, though, sadly to say, because I really had a lot of respect for the organisation when Charlie was in charge. I don't know if Charlie knew that this was the way it was going, but everybody's heard that Charlie ordered a Doge style audit of his company, which Turning Point refutes. That they're saying nothing to see here. This is just an ordinary audit that they complete every year or every 3 years or whatever it is the requirements state. And yeah, the idea that the people closest to Charlie could have been working against him or behind his back for their own ingratiations to other people and themselves. Obviously, lots of weird stuff around these McCoys, I have to say. If Candace's reporting is right, then I have to say that there's a lot of weird stuff happening around these McCoys. A lot of military background, a lot of military now, and that's not even to say that this was a hit job orchestrated by the McCoys' military friends. I'm not saying that at all, and I don't think Candace is really saying that. I mean, I just don't know what she's trying to get, because the thing that confuses me a lot with this, all of these planes that she's talking about, these Egyptian planes. The other day on her program, she referenced a Egyptian plane. One of these planes that are in question carried an Egyptian VIP, like a king or a prince or something, aboard it 4 years ago. Like, so what? What does the timeline of 4 years ago have to do with the timeline of today? You've got to link those two stories to make it, like, resemble any sort of conspiracy. Otherwise, why name them? Why put them out there? This Pierre Pierre Dupont that she just talked about in her last show for the weekend. I can't find the reasoning to make these puzzle pieces fit into Charlie's death. She says she's seen more footage than anybody else on the planet of Charlie's death. She says things like she has the video. She'd seen the video from whoever it was that had access to those SD cards that were filming Charlie at the time of the incident. But we never actually get to see any of these videos. She's got a lot of still shots being sent in. She's got her tips line going, and I'm sure it's heating up by the day with all of this stuff that's happened now. I just don't understand. I've seen the footage. I saw the footage as it happened, pretty much. And can't say that I'm an expert in any way, but the footage that I saw really does depict the case that the FBI and the Utah police are saying. In my opinion, I don't want to throw anybody that's innocent in prison, of course. But this kid, how can you not have questions about the veracity of his testimony, the veracity of his admission to his furry lover, his admission to his friends on Discord? So there is so much that we don't know. That's it's being leaked out. I really hate that it's being leaked out, especially if it does have any meaning or any standing within the case that's about to be brought, or probably next year. Hey, we're nearly out next year already. But this case that will be brought against Tyler, I'm hoping that all of this noise doesn't prohibit a fair and just sentence for this kid, who, in my opinion, obviously went down there with the intention of firing a rifle. Whether he had any intention of firing it and killing Charlie, I don't know. The stuff with the bullet, I don't know. I don't know if a 30-06 bullet necessarily could have done the damage that they're saying it did, and I also don't know if it didn't do the damage. Right? The gun people are saying there is no way it would have torn his head off. And it was a big fucking bullet. It's a big bullet. There's no ifs and buts about it. But there was other speculation to say if the bullet wasn't reloaded properly, if there wasn't enough grain in the bullet. There were other scientific, logical perhaps factors that could have precipitated the non-exit of the bullet. I really am pissed off that they cleared that crime scene so quickly. Like, it was there for 24, 48 hours. But it didn't feel to me like there was no, besides the obvious pictures, the crow's nest on the roof, they didn't show us any pictures of the actual crime scene itself, where Charlie was sitting. And look, they could have blurred out any shots of blood stains or anything like that. But people have said fragments of bullet found in Charlie. Perhaps another fragment went somewhere else. Did it hit a pole? Did it land in the grass? Did something... I think we have well and truly debunked, I think the world has well and truly debunked the road lavalier mic story about it exploded and it killed him. Well, it was here and he was bleeding from here. So it didn't explode inwards, it exploded outwards. Everybody's seeing the t-shirt fly outwards. So when it explodes outwards, it's going to do some damage, but it's not going to tear through your body inside and then come out the neck. That's just about as implausible as a 30-06 not having an exit wound. In my opinion, what sort of what sort of explosive um, um, technology are you going to have in there? Is it going to be plastic explosive? Is it going to be TNT? Is it going to be just a bunch of gunpowder ready for a spark? There's so many questions that I think that's easy to debunk the road lavalier mic. He had the earpiece in his ear because I'm sure that he wanted to hear if he was still being recorded, because trust me, I've had it happen to me when I was doing a big interview, and when I went home and checked the footage, there was no volume. The reason I didn't know is because I didn't have my earpiece in and I couldn't hear myself talking. So that's probably why Charlie had the earpiece in and the lavalier mic, which was attached to another recording system and possibly in like a desk or something similar to this, and that was being recorded. The voice was being recorded through that. Charlie would have been able to hear when his voice died if the mic died, and he would have been able to change out the mic. So he would have had that earpiece in for that reason. Now, let's get on to what's happened recently. So we all heard challenge, the gauntlet was thrown down, the challenge was laid out there for Candace Owens, apparently at some ridiculous hour, midnight, which probably around about midnight now, where if everybody in, if anyone in the US is watching on the eastern side there, it'll be around midnight. And she was told about it apparently 9 hours into the 24-hour timeline that they gave her to respond, to which she did respond. And in my opinion, she responded with a yes to the best of her ability. So for them to come back and do what they did is an insult. Now, Charlie's was not about, and never was about, insulting people. And all you're going to do is watch 10 minutes of his college tapes or his Cambridge speech, you know, to know that he wasn't in the business of insulting people or directing insult at a certain person with information to back up his criticism. So, or his insult rather. For instance, the DEI comment that he made that everybody twisted into Charlie thinks all black women are just DEI, which was not anything of the sort of what he said. But anyway, what we should do is we should get into it, and let me try and find the first incident. Okay, so this is the first one. Let's go to here. Okay, pause it and start from the beginning. So this is the where are we? No, this way. No, why is that there? Oh, we'll deal with it later. We'll just go back to this one. Okay, so this is the original post that was laying out the original idea that they were going to have a discussion, and that Candace had committed to any time, any place. So they're twisting that as well. So this was the original invitation advance invitation, save the date type of thing. But the date was not set. This was intimation that they were going to work on setting a date. Apparently, it's Amfest, just before Amfest starts, but they're going to do it from the studio, not from Amfest, which thank God for that, because that just would have been ridiculous. Now, we'll play this and then we'll have a chat about what I think about it. Okay, and so there you have Blake Neff making his preemptive um, preemptive plea to Candace to join them at their studios in Phoenix. So that is the little nuance that you've got to pick up on. And that's what they're clinging to now because it was, let's see, let me just find the actual setting of the date tweet. Okay, so here and then here. Okay, so then we go to his next tweet, which says the live stream we announced on the show Wednesday has been set at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time on Monday, December the 15th, which is this Monday coming. A collection, not this Monday coming for you guys, because that's today. The following Monday, because today's Monday here. It's a little confusing, I know. December the 15th, a collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements made by real Candace Owens. To set the record straight once and for all, prior to the opening of America Fest. So this is going to be prior to America Fest's opening. I think they usually open at about 5 or something on the first day. 4 or 5 or something on the first day. From memory. And then lunchtime on the last day. Oh no, it only goes till lunchtime on the last day. So it could open at lunchtime. No, there you go. So if America Fest sticks to its standards, should be opening at around 5 p.m. Who's going to open it? Are they limiting this live stream to only 1 hour in order to why is it doing that? Is that it? I think that's it. Yes, there we go. Now I fixed it. Okay, so you can see here it says at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local, so 4 p.m. Washington, New York, down that side, 2 p.m.'s in Phoenix. A collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements. Now, are these people that are going to respond to the statements going to be the people that she's made the statements about, or just a collection of Charlie's friends? Prior to the opening of America Fest, I'm sure the numbers are going to be crazy this year, but I think, I don't know, I've just got this gut feeling inside of me that it's going to start dropping off soon. I don't know if these people are capable enough to complete the mission that Charlie set out to complete without it failing quicker than it would if Charlie was in charge. If it ever failed when Charlie was in charge. I mean, that is the question now, isn't it? So we'll be live streaming from Charlie's Phoenix studio. Our offer from yesterday holds. Candace wishes to join us in person in Phoenix. She is welcome to do so. She can let us know by the end of today. Now, this was posted at apparently... So this was edited. When was it edited? She can let us know in person. Last edited at 4:51 p.m. on December the 4th. When was it originally posted? And what was the original? Version history. So what's different? At 4 p.m. Your live stream shall extend an hour off yesterday. Holds. The person that's still there. She can let us know by the end of today. That's still there. Oh, I know what's changed. I know what's changed. It's because I saw the original version of this and I made a comment to my friends that this version here that we're seeing right now, I'll bring it up higher so you can see it. A collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements made by Candace Owens. He did not tag Candace Owens. Excuse me. He did not even tag Candace Owens in this preemptive invitation or this 24-hour time period. So at the original post, right, he did not tag Candace Owens. In the edited post, and you can see the tag right there at Real Candace Owens, I would like to know how long it took him to. So he got 2 remarks on this one. Go back there. 16 likes and 1,700 impressions. And then the next version got 6.7 thousand comments, 1.3 thousand retweets, and 7,100 likes, 3.3 million impressions. Okay, so here's my question. Was the not tagging of Candace Owens simply negligence on his part? Or was it another part of a manipulation to let perhaps it not even be seen by any of Candace's peeps and to let it slide by, the 24 hours slides by, and then his next tweet could have been, well, Candace Owens couldn't even be bothered answering our call, our request, so the meeting's off. Could that have been plan B? Had somebody not either corrected him and told him she's not going to see it if you don't tag her in it? Or what? So that's my question with that. It's just a simple question. I think, and I did, as I said, I pointed this exact same thing out to my friends when this was brought to my attention. And my friend showed me this tweet, or this X, whatever you want to call it. I stated to her, he didn't even tag her. How's she supposed to see it, let alone respond to it? So there is a different bit, and I'm going to screenshot this, I think. Let's do that. Because you just don't know about these things disappearing. Tuck that in a little memory bank. But, so there you have it. That's why this was an edited version, because somebody realised that he had to tag her in it in order for her to see the actual invitation. And this is the result. A new post with her name tagged in it, and probably a reason why it got so many comments, replies, retweets, bookmarks. As you can see, I've bookmarked it myself. I didn't like it because I thought it was dirty tactics. Drew Hernandez responded obviously first in line. Why only in person? She said she's ready to go on live stream tomorrow. So, you know, they don't. So, what they're saying is she's ready to go on live stream tomorrow, but their side's not ready. They're not prepared. So they need to prepare themselves. That's why they gave themselves the opportunity to set the date, you see. This isn't come with no notes and bring your truth like Charlie used to do. This is a planned attack. It's going to be a planned attack. And hey, I am not the greatest fan of Candace Owens, but what this is dirty tactics. You can dispute it as much as you want, but you know, obviously, all forms of respectability and class, perhaps maybe is the word I could use, have gone out the window when it comes to these sorts, or this, at least this particular instance, because who does that? I mean, I don't even do that, and I'm a nobody. I do the hard slog of sending the emails, trying to find the contacts, sending the bloody contacts emails, trying to get a response, following up, trying to book a guest when I rarely have them. So, you know, you tell me. You tell me what's a manipulation and what's not. She's ready to go tomorrow, but they have to have over a week. Because from the 4th to the 15th, you know. So, I hope she brings her notes. What else do they say? So, as to let you know, within 24 hours of midnight, the first 10 hours are gone, so she has 14 hours to make plans to be 3 states away in person on a Monday. Too late, too bad. Seriously, are you spoiled children? See, this is the fracturing that I'm talking about. This is why I'm worried about the case being unresolved, Charlie's murder being unresolved, because of all this fracturing that's happening within this case, within the party, within MAGA, within, you know, the Conservatives. I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going on with Candace Owens. I really wish this was something that she just, you know, went to them straight up and point blank said, hey, look, I've got to come see you. I found all of this stuff and it really bothers me and I'd like to confirm it with you face to face. None of this freaking live stream bullshit. Everybody's grifting money off of this thing. I even have stopped myself from buying some freedom t-shirts from Turning Point USA because of all of this controversy. I wanted to buy them because I wanted to support the organisation. But now I'm questioning the organisation. And I was a stalwart. I did 2 years at AmFest. I paid for my appearance at AmFest. So, you know, I was a paying supporter of Turning Point USA. There are lots of paying supporters of Turning Point USA. If the money is going to fund ungodly things, then I don't want a part of it. I don't want a part of it. And if God forbid such information does become reality, the House of Cards will come tumbling down on all of these people. Blake, Neff, Andrew Colbert, all of them. I don't know how Erica would possibly recover from this, even if she didn't have anything to do with it. Which some are saying Candace is implying she did have or must have had some knowledge of it. That's what they're implying. Other people are saying she's not implying that. So she has her detractors and she has her protectors. I just think the whole thing's kind of awful. So, let's go to the next chapter of this little farce. Now she did. So 34 seconds. Okay, let's go to her post. There is so much. Okay, that's that one again. So let's go back to, let's go here. I think we'll just go here. And sorry guys, we just need to add a tab here. And okay, so right, this is it. So Candace came back with obviously her response to the invite, let's say, and it was, as you would expect it to be, very defensive and a little bit on point, if you ask me, because some of the technology that we have today, which is allowing me to right now live stream to the world or anybody that's watching on Rumble or YouTube, there is no excuse. And I do understand the nuance of interviewing somebody when they're live streaming, because there's a delay. These aren't really problems that you would have to associate with in-country interviews over Zoom or Teams or whatever platform she uses, or they use for that matter. As she points out, Andrew Colbert was live streamed in via a link, Zoom link or whatever it is, just the other day when they were responding to some of Candace's response. And prior to many, 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 many times, they are possibly saying that the the rapport between being able to look somebody in the eye, I think that's what they're trying to do, is they want to be able to sit her there and have her look them in the eye and repeat what she's saying, and then give them the opportunity to look her back in the eye and refute them. Now, that's all well and good. A defendant should always be judged by a jury of their peers, and in this case, her peers are the ones that she's accusing. So it should be just that they get to face their accuser and debate her, she debate them, whatever. It's her right to do so. And on the mothering side, on the security side, now we've heard about all the death threats. Like, these people get death threats every day. This is common practice, obviously, when you gain popularity with anything. Somebody's going to hate you. Somebody's going to want you dead. Doesn't matter what you could be talking about. The way the toilet paper goes on the toilet roll holder, and you could like it going over, and some maniac with a gun likes it going under and wants to come and kill you over it. That's the way we live today. Okay? Let's face the facts just on that. So I understand security. She would need it. They cannot guarantee her security because they could not guarantee Charlie's security. So why would she even take a split second of a chance on Charlie's security to protect her in Phoenix at the studio that's under their control? Now, I'm not going to go so far as she did to suggest that, you know, no assassinations, please. But this thing has expounded. Let's follow the story. This one and Blade. So, okay, of just in defense of Turning Point USA on that point, everybody knows that Charlie Kirk's organization has gone in leaps and bounds over the last 3 years. And I'm not surprised that everybody was brand new. There was a lot of brand new, even when I was there in 2024. There was a lot of brand new staff, or staff that had been promoted to brand new jobs within the organisation. So, if that is an interesting fact, I mean, the question in itself, that you know, if that was a directed question, it was a stupid one. It was a waste of an opportunity that he had to speak with the Pentagon staff. It was a waste of an opportunity. He had it right there. First question, asks about a conspiracy theory. Which all this is all conspiracy theory at the moment. That's all it is. Let's just remember that.
After my episode,
Sorry, sponsored by. Okay. Okay. So you get the gist of it. She was pissed. Don't blame her for being pissed. Under the circumstances, I would be pissed. Um, but I honestly, I don't see things on Candace's level as how this connects to Charlie's murder. I do see a grand possibility of somebody inside of Turning Point USA, perhaps some of Charlie's close friends, trying to get their claws into all of that money. Okay? I don't have any doubts at all that Bibi Netanyahu was trying to blackmail Charlie Kirk into siding with Israel and promoting Israel with a ridiculous amount of money donated to his organization. But of course, the way it sounds is that that money was intended for Charlie's pocket and Charlie's pocket alone. Um, all reports say he definitely said no. If it's true, Netanyahu's denying it, of course. Others are denying it, of course. The Josh Hammers of the world. If it's true and he denied it, if it's false, then denial is a moot subject, isn't it? If it's not true, then Charlie's denial of accepting it is moot because it never happened. How can one thing happen without the other thing happening? So you can see that it sort of all spirals out of control after this. When you go into, let's see, let's go back here. Um, 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 um. Okay, so of course, as Candace rightly claimed, a lot of people had questions about this offer that was made, that she had to be there in person. As I've explained, I see the nuances between a live in-person interview and a live stream where there is delays, it could be computer malfunctions, there could be. Personally, I don't think any of it should be on the internet. I think all of it should be done behind closed doors, and I think that's how it should have been done in the first place. This is how friends handle things with other friends. So, what that tells me is these were two opposing enemies from the get go. From the get go. From before Charlie was dead, Charlie may have kept his contact with Candace. Um, I don't know what the relationship was with Erica. I don't know. So I'm not going to speculate. I don't have access to their emails or their phone logs or any of that shit. And it's wrong of all of us to speculate. And really, to a degree, it's wrong of her to speculate. Okay, what facts are facts? She says they're facts. Um, Seeing documents and all of these things that she shows, and they've all been disputed on the other side. They've all been explained back on the other side. I'm at the point now where the line is so blurred between who's good and who's evil. Like, you're really reading between the lines now is of the utmost importance. The utmost importance. Because if you cannot read between the lines and find some sort of commonality between the two stories, and somebody's going to get off scot-free for murdering Charlie Kirk. That's it. That is the crux of the whole thing. Someone will get off scot-free for the murder of Charlie Kirk. Okay, so I've got this one. This is the response to This is a phone-in guest on the Charlie Kirk show questioning um, Neff and Colvert, whatever they call him, whatever his name is. He introduced himself to me as Andrew Colvert, so that's what I'm going to call him. And a caller asked, why are they being stubborn about the live stream? And the answer was not what I would have expected. I would have expected something along the lines of what I just said about the nuances of live speaking to somebody one-on-one, face-to-face, as opposed to something like this. But listen, watch for yourself and judge for yourself. You can tell me what you think.
And she's saying she can't attend in person. Can she attend on a live stream? Or, and you guys do live streams all the time. And is that going to be an option?
Gina.
I'm just trying to make this come together.
Of course, Gina. So first of all, our initial statement, it was on the show on Wednesday. I made it at the request of Erica. All of this has been at the direction and approval of Erica because she heads this. And so what we were announcing there is we said she has said things that are not true, and we did not address them for a long time. We stated the reasons why, that we thought a lot of them were just not.
What's going on here? Let's try this again. Oh, please don't tell me my internet's gone out. Oh my god. What's going on? Let me try this old chestnut. Here we are, back again. Okay. Let's try this again, folks.
And in person, can she attend on a live stream? Or, and you guys do live streams all the time. And is that going to be an option?
Of course, Gina.
I'm just trying to make this come together.
Of course, Gina. So first of all, our initial statement, it was on the show on Wednesday. I made it at the request of Erica. All of this has been at the direction and approval of Erica.
And that point itself was another bullseye for Candace, because in her follow-up to this follow-up, she basically says, so this was all Erica's idea, was it? This little meeting, this tete-a-tete that you're talking about having, this all was at the direction of Erica. You've just laid it at the feet of Erica. Now, personally, I think that's dirty, because I don't know what her involvement is. I don't know. I would love to believe that Erica is the faith-loving human being that she portrays herself to be. But again, blurry. Everything's blurry at the moment. It's not just because I'm still getting over my jet lag. But this was a major coup for Candace in her response.
Because she heads this. And so what we were announcing there is we said she has said things that are not true, and we did not address them for a long time. We stated the reasons why, that we thought a lot of them were just not. How to put it? We initially just thought no one would believe a lot of what was being said, and we also just we remembered the same.
Hello, do they know Candace Owens? Like, do they know what she does? She like, hello? Come on. That's just like, they know the power that Candace Owens has. They know the power of the internet that it has. And that's just a stupid answer. This is what I'm saying. This is not what I expected them to be saying.
Same friendship that Charlie had, and we just hoped that this would go away without requiring any sort of direct statement or confrontation from us. So, well,
See, again, like, they didn't think this would have to be directly rebutted by them. In what world do they think that they would not have to rebut these claims? It doesn't matter if Candace made them or Joe Bloggs made them. It just doesn't. Of course you would have to come out and rebut them. And you came out and rebutted all of the bullets theories, miracle bones, and, drank his milk, ate his spinach, Superman, whatever. So, Charlie educated us. If this is going to be your misstep, you've forgotten that Charlie educated us to look out for this shit. And that's what we've been doing. We've been looking out for this shit. And if you do destroy Charlie's legacy, may that live on your souls forever.
what was approved is we announced we are going to respond to this, and what I said was we are going to announce a date soon. We actually hadn't agreed on it at the time I read the statement. We're going to announce a date where we're going to respond to this, and once we announce it, Candace is free to attend in person. That is what we announced. And so once we agreed on a time, I announced what the time was going to be. Candace, for her part, had said, you name the time, you name the place. That is what we did. As for why it was put out at that time, I would just say I don't think she had any difficulty in finding out what our scheduled time was. It seems everyone found it out quite quickly. And lastly, on the point of why it's in person, I think it's pretty intuitive that given what is being said, the way this has worked is that it's critical to be in person if you want to be authentic and to be detailed. And that is what we think is a fair request to make if she's going to participate. But regardless, it is going to go forward because we have agreed that some response needs to be made. And so that's going to happen when we announced it on December 15th.
Now, they did actually cut off the caller after that. Andrew Colbeck came in from his Zoom link from wherever he was. I gather he was probably down at Amfest, down at the arena for Amfest, setting up all of Charlie Kirk's stage and stuff like that. So, the fact that they cut her off because they had to go to an ad break, and I know radio, you have to go to the ad breaks, I know that, but they could have said, just hold on and we'll continue this conversation on the other side of the break. They didn't offer that opportunity. It just seems that they're not offering the opportunities that they should be offering. The ones that they are offering just don't seem kosher to me. You let me know what you think. Okay, so of course then Candace, let's just pause that. Candace came back with her response, and I believe she did say something about making it in person again. Let's see if I can find that. Hang on, that's not. Okay, all right. I did want to play this little bit because this is Tim Pool. So this is why we're talking about fracturing within the GOP and within MAGA and all of that stuff. Because Tim Pool, who is another commentator that helped to propel Trump to the White House, cannot doubt, cannot dispute it. Tim Pool's voice has become bigger over for the conservative side than it ever has. Recently married and a father, so his concerns are getting real now. And even he is at odds with Turning Point USA because they forgot to invite him to Anfest this year, and he is one of the inaugural and regular presenters there. They get to do their show usually on the end of the second night, the Saturday night or the Friday night. I think they do their Friday night show live from there. So he is not buying what Candice is selling, even though he too has a beef with Turning Point. He delves into that a little bit more deeply on his show with Milo Yiannopoulos, which I force myself to watch because I hate Milo Yiannopoulos. He's a grifting, lying piece of crap. Laura Loomer's got him pegged 100%, and I don't agree with everything Laura Loomer says and been doing lately either, because she's gone on her little Israel quest as well. So this is Tim Pool. Now this was 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago now, talking about what he thinks of Candace Owens' propaganda, conspiracy theories, and how he thinks it is busting apart the coalition between MAGA and the GOP, and why he's afraid of that happening. So let's go play.
To the story here from Raw Story. Charlie Kirk was betrayed. Right-winger turns on Turning Point leader.
Oh my God.
Hi, I'm James. I'm the founder of Premium Grounding. When I first heard about grounding, I thought it was the biggest load of rubbish. I was so skeptical about it.
Leadership after murder.
See, implying that leadership knew means that Charlie knew if this was going on before Charlie. Because who was the ultimate leader? Charlie was. That's what I don't like. That innuendo that he possibly knew. Or is she just going to say he was a little old dolt that didn't understand money? That's even worse. Okay. This is not conversation that I was looking for. They've drifted off into something else. I'm not sure if they get back into it, but Tim Pool really lays into Candace Owens. Hang on. Let me just get this back up. He lays into her big time. I'm just trying to find a shorter version. Let's see. Let's see if this is. Okay. Alright, this is the majority report. I've not seen it before. Let's do Kim Iverson. Let's watch hers. And skip. Okay, so unmute. And I've got to change the scenes, people. Alrighty. Now, go here. See, fractured. We're fractured.
If the Republicans lose in the midterms, I believe that Candace Owens is wholly responsible. She is one of the biggest the right everything to go to the organization.
That's what I was looking for. Okay. Let's fast forward this, see what happens. If she goes back to talking about Charlie. Oh, bloody commercials. Oh, just a word from our sponsors. Wish I had a sponsor. Okay, let's see. Where does this pick up? That kind of sounds like Australia. Good question. Where do we begin with this one? Like, there are some points there that I have to agree with Tim. They just are. Like, because if it wasn't a fracture, both of us, like, but there wouldn't be people on the same side talking about opposing theories. This is a fracture. This is what happens when he made that mention just then of 15 factions all fighting against each other trying to win the same trophy. This is Australia. This is what our Commonwealth government parliamentary system gives us. Too many factions to choose from, and everything just gets pushed up the ladder to the two top slush funds, as far as I'm concerned. And you know what? I'm not even going to say that the way your system works is better, but I think it's high time that we formed some sort of our own republic and ditch this current constitution that we do have, because this is the constitution as it stands today is an oath to the king, as he is now the king. It's an oath to the king. It's an oath to the Commonwealth of England, So we aren't truly autonomous. The oh God, what's his name? The liaison for the king, the governor general. He can pull the plug on anything, anytime. He's done it once before. It's just had the 50-year anniversary of the Gough Whitlam expulsion from government at the hands of the Australian Governor General, who only needed permission from the Queen. So that's the famous, well, you may say God save the Queen, but nothing will save the Governor General. And it didn't in the end. But did Gough Whitlam do anything better for Australians than idiot that came in after him? You know, he never quite made it to the top on his own merits anyway. And that's the problem. I think we need to have a system where we get to choose the leader of the party that's going to rule, right? We know that there's only two parties. We know that there's only going to be a Labor or a Liberal parliament, because other parties, even now with Barnaby Joyce jumping on board One Nation, there's not enough pull in the Senate to actually rule Australia as the Prime Minister. So I don't hold out high hopes just because Barnaby Joyce jumped ship. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I do have worries that Barnaby Joyce is going to creep in there and try and undercut Pauline Hanson, and that would be a shame. But one of their ethos is to support the Constitution, which I clearly don't believe is a worthy document for Australians. I really don't. My husband and I both read it and we both think exactly the same thing, and I never even gave him any hints. I just told him, here, read this, tell me what you think. And we both came to the same conclusion. Anyway, so this tete-a-tete has not just been going on with Candace Owens and Tim Poole. It's been going on between, as you heard, Nick Fuentes and not Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson seems to be almost entertaining Candace's ideas. Photos taken just the other night at Tucker's Christmas party at his property in Nashville or wherever it is, featured Candace Owens and the recently departed Marjorie Taylor Greene, or recently or soon to depart Marjorie Taylor Greene rather. Some are now conspiring that this is a conspiracy, not just an ordinary Christmas party where people just want to go have a good time, drink some drinks and forget about the internet ever existing, which is how I feel sometimes and a lot lately. But, you know, Stephen Crowder had some not so nice things to say about Candace's insinuations, so we can have a quick look at that and have a discuss, because Stephen Crowder's words, though biting as they are, he will always offer the person who's criticising the platform to debate in person with him. Well, actually, not necessarily in person, but normally by a Zoom link. So they do give that grace where all of this roughhousing between Candace and Tim all seems to be like, I haven't heard Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, offer Candace the opportunity to go on his live stream. Maybe he should, maybe he could be swayed, who knows, you just don't know. If she rocks up to his studio with a handful of documents that he can see with his own eyes, how, maybe he could be swayed. I'm not saying yay or nay to that. But that's a possibility that could have, maybe should have already happened when it comes to Tim Pool. But anyway, let's have a listen to what Stephen Crowder had to say about this little instance, and then we'll talk about the other little argument he's having online at the moment with another popular conservative podcast.
Boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking bullet. It's like as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. It's the Fed signature. It's on these.
necessarily believe that he acted alone, and I don't believe that we got the entire straight story from the feds, and I think some of that was probably just people speaking a little too quickly and then trying to cover their tracks. But I think there's more to this story. I think that's a reasonable position to hold. Someone who says it's unreasonable for you to say, hey, accusing the Trump administration, ergo TPUSA, and Charlie Kirk's wife of taking him out, that's like, you need to have some proof for that. If someone attacks you, that is not a reasonable person. That's my opinion. And by the way, if you're watching and that describes you, I don't view your stance as, you are still more than welcome to watch and allow me to continue to make my case. Unreasonable people are still encouraged and welcome to watch. But I will tell you, I think it's an unreasonable position. Oh, you're still here and you're still watching?
There you go. There you go. So Stephen Crowder had his 2 cents to say about, this was earlier on, an assumption earlier on. I think, as you can see, it says, let's, back here. And you can see that it says 1 month ago. Now, it actually, reading this comment that they placed, like this promo, Candace Owens has officially jumped the shark. That line right there is exactly the same line that I used when I sent this to Stephen Crowder's chat. Candace Owens has officially jumped the shark. Because that's a term that we use a lot in my Discord chat. Because so many people have jumped the shark, the proverbial shark, of late, and it is getting beyond a joke. So yeah, this was from a month ago when she made those claims that you saw. And then, of course, there is the debauchery that we call Milo Yiannopoulos. He is absolutely disgusting, and so I'm just gonna, like, Tim Pool, as I said, Tim Pool had him on his show the other day. I forced myself to watch because I cannot stand this guy. He is a lying grifter, and I will never back down from those allegations, and if he wants to have me cancelled, then go ahead, mate, because nobody watches anyway. But he had the audacity to make these ridiculous claims, which Laura Loomer happily shared with the world. So Laura Loomer said 17 hours ago, isn't it interesting how nobody, oh actually I'll read this one because this one's December 6th, this was 2 days ago. Marjorie Trader Greene's intern and speechwriter Milo Yiannopoulos, who spends a lot of his time living inside the Rome, Georgia home of Marjorie Taylor Greene, went on Timcast to say that Charlie Kirk was about to divorce Erica Kirk before he died and that Charlie was gay. Milo also used the episode to say Candace cares more about Charlie than Erica Kirk cares about her own husband. So this propaganda, this bleh, that falls out of his mouth, it just makes me want to punch him in the nose. Like, look, if you've got the time and you've got the stomach for it, go and watch it, because he's the most disgusting creature on earth. And to say that he's fighting for conservatives is just a flat out lie. He's always been fighting for himself and his position and his stature in life. That is all Milo Yiannopoulos cares about. That's all he's ever cared about. This bullshit. Oh, I'm not gay anymore. When I was gay, blah, blah, blah. Apparently Tucker Carlson has had him on as the, I don't know if Tucker called him this, but Loomer references him as the homosexuality expert. And he's a raging homosexual. Don't even try to convince me otherwise. I don't care if he is dipping it in some woman somewhere. I don't care. I will never believe that man is a heterosexual man and can just whimsically change between ideologies. No, I'm sorry. And the fact that he even references God and all of this drivel that comes out of his disgusting mouth. There is a special place in hell for you, Milo. There really is. But here's the snippet that Laura Loomer was referencing, and she tries to implicate Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson in this snip here. So, if you do watch the episode of Tim Paul, he dominates the whole nearly 3 hours. He dominates it. Why? Why does he have to dominate every area of life that he enters? Because he's a selfish, self-centered, evil, egotistical prick. That's why. And I don't care if he gets offended. I really don't. He doesn't care. He doesn't know me. He doesn't care about me. And I feel exactly the same way. He's not talking about me. Only reason I'm talking about him is because he's a disgusting freak. So let's listen to this.
I'm always a couple of days behind watching on the show because I've got stuff going on. But somebody tweeted today that Candace said that she believed that they were about to get a divorce. I think he was gay. I think he was gay. And
come on, you know that you do know that I've criticized. What? Like I'm sorry, Tim, but like, why would you even go there? Like to say something like that?
I'll tell you why.
No. The man's dead. You're calling now. You think he's gay.
That's when people can talk. That's when people can tell the truth. I'm always a couple of days behind watching on the show because I've got stuff going on.
That's a pretty short clip. I'm not sure if the other one is. It's the same 28 seconds, I believe. Yes. Okay, maybe we will go to the episode. No, let's go. Get you out of there, and I'll go have a look at my history. And this one, I think I might have watched it on Rumble actually. Yes, I believe I did watch it on Rumble. So I have to flick out of there. I'll go to here, and then I'll go to history. And where are you? Here we are. Okay. So this is the episode in question. Okay. Rightio, peeps. Now we're sorted. So we're going to go here and you'll see that this episode is like 2 and something hours long. We're not going to watch the whole lot, but I just want to get to the part, if I can, of where Milo goes on this stupid rant about how everybody in Turning Point's gay. Erica Kirk's like cheating on Erica Kirk's like some bleeding heart gold digger. Just vomit. Just vomit. So let's have a listen. Ha! I was seething the whole time, Tim. Oh God. He always spends about 10 minutes with his bloody openings. Oh, see, he's just so vulgar. This, I have to say, this George Santos does annoy me, pandering to Milo so blatantly, just because he's gay. But it just adds to my premise that Milo is as gay, as camp as a row of tents, as we say here. He is as camp as a row of tents. Because George Santos admires him. He styles himself on him. Please, you're already in trouble enough, George. Lucky that you got pardoned. You know, other people like Tina Peters are still rotting in bloody stinking prison cell. And here you are with your fake teeth and your false bravado, pretending you didn't get your ass booted out of freaking Congress because you lied. Now, in saying that, George Santos always pretty much voted with Trump, so there's that. But just watch how Milo just monopolizes the whole conversation about everything, Candace. I have to fast forward this. Oh. So you'll see that other lady that was just there in the blonde hair, with the blonde hair, not in the blonde hair. She was another guest on the show. She wasn't a named guest, but she was still a guest. She barely got 2 words in the whole show, and of course, Phil was there from All That Remains, and also, oh no, Phil might not have been there, but Ian Crosslands was there as well. He wasn't mic'd up though. But you'll see, he just dominates the whole bloody thing. It's so sickening. You see how disgusting he is? You see how disgusting he is? This this is what Braveheart was based on, that violation. I don't know why, but he just gave me Tim Waltz vibes with the little wavy. See, like insult after insult, he's disgusting. I have to fast forward this. See, doesn't he does see how he becomes ridiculously violent when somebody tries to accuse him of being gay? Like he's trying to ignore that he was gay and admittedly proudly out there gay. How can he be the expert on homosexuality if he didn't stick it in somebody's ass once or twice? Excuse my French. there you go. Phil was there. He didn't get into word in either. Oh, so Ian Crossland did have a mic, but it wasn't on him the whole time because when he was talking, he was barely heard. But anyway, that's beside the side. Just going to skip a few bars into this. Right, this is about the J6 bombing. Okay. Here we go. This is now his backwards insults at Tim. You, you, see, this is like the insults. First of all, I doubt very much that he's even been in George Santos's house, like, let alone able to tell you what he drinks and eats, um, and describe it as he described it. And then he just bamboozles you with all these little anecdotes like that. You could see that Ian Crossland didn't even know what the fuck he was talking about. Crossland was trying to offer him drugs, probably DMT or ayahuasca or something like that. I'm sure Milo's done it all before. He was a debaucherous person before. He's still a debaucherous person because look at him. Look at him. He's disgusting. I mean, he just accused Ian Crossland of giving him something that would kill him or make him very, very ill. Just implied that, I wouldn't take anything from you if you paid me, because you'd probably try to kill me. Hello? Is everybody trying to kill everybody all of a sudden? He's gross. Okay, well, I've just figured out that my whole live stream has been a wash. So I'm just going to go back here. I think you can hear me clearly on this channel, but I don't know what is interfering with my other channel. I don't have any other tabs open, so I just don't know. It's coming out clear as a bell on my end, but on your end it is shit. I've just realised. So my apologies for all of that. I don't know if you got to hear any of my commentary, and there's actually no point in going on any further because my system is out of whack. So I'm just going to have to end it here, I think, guys. I had a whole shitload of stuff that I was going to talk about. Knew it was going to be a long show because all of this crap that's going around. But suffice it to say, I don't like what's going on. And again, I'll reference the top of the show. If you have got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. But I found that I was in a position where I had to say something because I just don't like it. So for my own benefit and for maybe whoever watches this, which is probably no one because it's shit and I don't blame you. And I apologise profusely and I'll get to the bottom of it, I guess, somehow. But yeah, I'm not happy with what's going on all around the world at the moment. Europe, the US, here, it's all, you know, even this seditious six, didn't get a chance to talk about that, but I can't play any clips obviously because it's not working. And so I'm going to end it right here, guys. I've been on for 2.5 hours anyway, so far too long for a non-descriptive podcast to be on. So I'm going to let it all go here, guys. We'll talk again soon. I am having a panel show on Saturday around about the same time. We'll probably be starting maybe a bit earlier than midnight Eastern Standard Time though. Hopefully I can get this shit sorted out. And like we say here in the bunker, we've always got to keep the faith and follow the facts. As blurry as it might be to see them, and find the fight. Thanks guys, have a great day, have a great night. MAGA out. Hours anyway, so far too long for a non-descriptive podcast to be on. So I'm going to let it all go here, guys. We'll talk again soon. I am having a panel show on Saturday around about the same time. We'll probably be starting maybe a bit earlier than midnight Eastern Standard Time though. Hopefully I can get this shit sorted out. And like we say here in the bunker, we've always got to keep the faith